Hello, my dear and wonderful and beautiful friend. I'm here to make a really special video for you because it's something that's been on my mind and it's something that I just feel like I need to talk about. I want to talk about how I went from being a huge skeptic in the Beachbody world and in the coaching world to being a coach. Because I think a lot of us, we hear the word Beachbody or we see people promoting being a Beachbody coach, and we see all this stuff. And that term, even just the words Beachbody, and even just the words of somebody coaching or, trying to get you to join their team, like all that stuff, we kind of have a negative connotation towards it. And we have this almost disgusted feeling of, I don't want to do that. Like we hear the word and we don't like it. We're disgusted by it. And so I just wanted to share my story of how I went from being a skeptic and being like that as well, and probably being like you and thinking that Beachbody people were crazy, that it's stupid, and it's all just a bunch of hocus pocus, and nobody should do it because it's stupid and they're bad and they just want everybody to be skinny. And how I went from that to being totally on fire and like, yeah, I'm a coach and I love it and I want everybody to join me in doing this. So I'm gonna explain that to you and how I made that journey. So I'm gonna start with where I was before. I was very closed off person. I did not use social media. I did not care about Facebook, Instagram. I didn't have a Facebook. Instagram was kind of like on the side. I tried it. I was like, I'm a little scared about it. But eventually I started following people that were into health and fitness because I'm also into health and fitness. And so I started following people like that. I saw them working out. I got workouts from them, watched their videos. And over time, I started following more and more people that were so-called coaching. And I remember the first person I followed that was a coach. And I was like, well, that's weird. That's kind of interesting. And I remember they posted something about looking for more people to join in their groups or looking for somebody to join as a coach. It was just all this like, you should join me stuff. And I was like, you guys are crazy. Like, why do you keep asking people to do this? This is weird. I finally had the courage to message somebody and say, what is this? And they're like, oh, it's this, blah, blah, blah. And then they said the word Beachbody in their paragraph about what it is and what they do and the workouts and all that stuff. They said the word Beachbody. And I freaked out. I was like, nope, not doing that. Beachbody, like I was totally against anybody that was promoting a skinny or fit body. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want everybody to love their bodies. I think bodies are great at all sizes. Beachbody, I don't like that. I had this negative connotation towards the term Beachbody. And it's crazy because I have no relationship with Beachbody. I've never done it. I've never tried it. I honestly had never heard of it except for it was in the fitness industry. And so I don't know why, but I heard the term Beachbody and I was like, nope, ew. And I had this like instinctive feeling of like, no, I'm not a part of that. Like, I don't want to be a part of that. And it took a really long time it took a really long time for me to go from being disgusted by the word Beachbody to being like, okay, I'm open to what you're talking about. So I was disgusted by the word Beachbody. They said that word and I'm like, no. But what changed my mind is when I started to hear people's stories. Like I said, I had no relationship to Beachbody. I had never heard of it, never heard anybody talk about it in my realm or my world or anything like that. I was a very closed off person and didn't really dive into other people's lives. But then I started hearing people's stories. And these were stories of how people went from this horrible place, this place of being depressed and angry at life and hating themselves and hating the world and feeling unfulfilled and feeling just lost and confused and alone. And they went from that place and they went to this beautiful place that I saw them on Instagram of them having fun and them being happy and healthy and making friends and talking about their friends and talking about their lives and just sharing their joy with other people. And I saw that and I was like, wait, you're telling me that you went from this horrible place of feeling self-loathing and just sad and depressed and lonely to this joyful, happy, healthy place by Beachbody? Like, That's what you're telling me? And I didn't understand it. At first I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just a workout program and they're trying to sell you something. They just want you to buy something. They're just trying to sell you a product like every other thing out there. The hey girl message of, hey, buy my product. I was like, that's exactly what they're doing. But when they told me their stories, they put a person behind the term Beachbody, and I started hearing stories and stories and stories and stories and stories of people just like me, people going through the same thing as me. The craziest thing is I was listening to someone's story and I related about like 15 different things, and the most random things of like we both had 6 siblings or 5 siblings, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. And then we both, you know, were into fitness and took it too far, and it went into like an eating disorder and anorexia and all that stuff. And I was like, oh wait, me too. And then they found their way back and found a healthy way of having, of working out and having a good relationship with food. And that was through Beachbody. And then another person talking about how they were in a very lost and lonely place, kind of confused about what do I do with my life? Who am I? Why do I have no purpose? Blah, blah, that whole thing we tell ourselves. That person, I was like, oh my gosh, I connect with that too. And so I just kept hearing stories and stories and stories. And that was when it hit me. I'm like, I need to figure out what this is really about. Like, what is so cool about Beachbody? Like, why are people going, like, yeah, it's just workouts. It's just nutrition. Why are people going from this horrible place to this awesome, beautiful place where they're loving their lives and they're loving the people around them and they're sharing love and joy in the world and they're just being an inspiration? Like, how did they go from there to there? Like, I don't get it. Because I was still down here. I was still in that place of like, I'm alone. I'm scared. I'm, you know, that horrible place of feeling sadness. And I'm like, well, how did I get to there? Because I want to get there. I want to get to that joy. I want to get to that place of feeling fulfilled and feeling like I had a purpose. And so I heard their stories and I was like, I gotta check it out. And so I did. And I dived deep into the Beachbody world. I was like, what is this about? And what I discovered was amazing. And this is what changed my mind from being a skeptic of Beachbody and be like, I hate the word Beachbody, to being like, it's not about the word Beachbody. It's not about having a body ready for the beach. I think that was just a title they gave it. It's about forming a community. It's about bettering yourself one step at a time, doing things for yourself that just bring joy back into your life, and then doing it alongside others. So I didn't see, when I heard the word Beachbody, I didn't see that it included a community and a friendship and like a sisterhood. Like, it's so cute. When I thought of Beachbody, I was like, workouts and protein shakes. I'm like, ew, stupid. But when I dived deeper into what Beachbody really was about, it included a community and it included people becoming your friends, and it included forming these bonds with people over living a healthy lifestyle, mind and body. And when I finally realized that these people that are Beachbody coaches and these people that are Beachbody advocates, they were not just let's work out and drink protein shakes. They weren't those people. I had this stigmatism in my head that those are those people that are like, yeah, let's work out and let's drink our protein shakes. Like, I hated those people. And I don't want to have anything to do with those people. But I discovered about Beachbody people and about the Beachbody world is that they care about the body and like you working out and being healthy, but they also care about your mind. And that's what I loved about it. I was like totally blown away and totally like drawn in by it, because I learned they weren't just caring about their body and their nutrition. They were investing in their minds. You know, doing self-development and always learning, always growing. There's always some way that they were bettering themselves as a person in order to love the world better. And that's what my life mission is all about. And I'm discovering that now. I'm discovering that my life mission, and I believe this is the life mission of everybody. Everybody's always wondering, what is God's will for my life? Well, I'm going to break it down right now. God's will for you to build up yourself, to love yourself, and to be invested in your health as a person, in whole body, mind, spirit, soul, everything. Invest in the health of you and then help others do it too. I believe that's God's mission because that's what Jesus did. He developed himself, he grew himself, and he grew closer to God, and he had this mission of building up himself. You know, he prayed to God and he spent time with his friends and did it in a community, and he spent time investing in his personal growth And then his mission was to help others do the same. Help others be reborn. Help others learn to love themselves and love people. It's so simple. It's so easy. We want to complicate the purpose of our lives. We want to make it seem like there's this big, grand purpose of our lives, but the most basic purpose of everyone's life is to build yourself up and then teach others to do it too. Is to learn to love your mind, body, and soul, and then teach others to love it too. And it's literally the simplest thing. And I know this sounds crazy, but Beachbody's doing that. And I'm going to make a totally separate video. I'm super excited about. I'm preparing. I'm writing notes for it about how the Beachbody systems is like discipleship and what Jesus did when he was here. I believe that there is a connection there, and that is why the Beachbody world is growing so rapidly, is because it's growing the same exact way that the church has grown. And I'm going to explain that later in another video, but I just want to tell you how I went from being a skeptic to a coach. And that was because I saw stories. I saw people telling their stories and living out their stories. They weren't just saying these stories, they were living it out, and it was beautiful, and I loved it, and I was drawn into it and attracted to it. So I heard their stories, and then I discovered the community. I discovered the sisterhood, the group of people that are just forming these bonds over building up themselves and then sharing it with others. And so I loved that. And then I also discovered that they were not just concerned about getting your credit card number and charging your account. They were concerned about you living the best life possible, investing in yourself, investing in your health as a whole person. Mind, body, soul, all of it, spirit, everything. They want you building that up and then teaching others to do it. And that's what coaching is about. That's why I turned from a skeptic into a coach, is because I saw all of that happening, and I think it's beautiful. To see people investing in themselves, investing in their own health, and learning to love themselves and be proud of themselves and be confident in themselves, and then teaching others to do that too. That's the basics of being a coach. That's the basics of being a Beachbody coach. Now, you can be a coach for anybody. This is the basics of any coaching program, is that you build yourself up in order to teach others how to do it as well. And so that is my story. That is how I went from being a skeptic to a coach. I was skeptical. My mind was closed. And I look at that person and I'm like, I wish you would have opened your eyes a little bit sooner. So I'm telling you that if you feel like you're a skeptic, if you see people and you automatically go into that envious, jealous, angry mode, and you're like, no, that person's stupid. No, that's wrong. I can't believe she's doing that. Why is she acting like that? Stop emailing me. Stop saying, hey girl. Stop sending me these weird messages. Stop promoting your business. If that's your feeling, like if you have these negative feelings towards these coaches and these people that are just trying to help you become a better version of yourself, if you start to feel negative towards them, I want you to check your heart and realize the reason you're feeling negative and the reason that you're resisting it is because it's actually what you need to be doing. And you need to open your mind, humble yourself, and just try to learn from them. Be open to these coaches that are approaching you. Be open to learn from them. I'm telling you right now, they have something to offer you. They're not asking for your money. They're offering you a life. They're offering you a new life. And I suggest you take it, because I am so glad I did. I am so glad that I transferred from a skeptic to a coach, because it is changing my life and it's changing others as well. And I think we can change the world if we all put down our skepticism and just embrace what is happening in front of us. So that is my story, and I hope that you learned something from it. And I'm excited. If you want to join as a coach and you want to do this with me and you're like, yeah, you've convinced me, or if you're feeling like, yeah, I was a skeptic and I want to learn a little bit more about how I could not be a skeptic, or if you're thinking, that's my story too, that I'm over here, I'm stuck in that sad and lonely place, and I want to get there. I want to get to this place where I'm inspiring people and sharing to the world my love for investing in your health and your wellness and your well-being. I want to be that person up here. I can bridge that gap for you. So just click the link in the box below and I can bridge that gap, and we can change the world together. We can go from being skeptics to being inspirational influencers in the world. I hope you join me, because Obviously, I'm excited. Bye.